Alright guys, welcome back to another one. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Stellar Blade. It's been quite some time since we last spoke about this game. I think the last time we were talking about this, it was to do with the censorship drama surrounding the game's launch in relation to an outfit that got patched. For some gamers, this caused mass outrage because they weren't receiving the products that they were advertised, to a point where a guy that goes by the name of Mark Kern started a Change.org petition to free Stellar Blade. This ended up getting 93,000 signatures. Has that original version of the outfit returned to the game since? No. Is this a big deal? Personally, I don't think so. I'm not going to get my nipples in a twist over some video game titty being covered up, and if people are really that desperate, there is a website out there that's dedicated to fulfilling those needs if you need them fulfilled. However, since launch, ShiftUp have been really good at supplying this game with updates, fixing various issues and bugs, along with smaller pieces of content. The biggest so far is the boss challenge mode that was added to the game, allowing you to reverse any of the bosses you fight throughout the story. However, there have of course been numerous outfits added to the game, like quite a few. This is one of the big components of Stellar Blade, is its outfits, and it's one thing that ShiftUp confirmed leading up to the launch of the game was that they would continue to add additional outfits via free updates at no additional cost. Well, the game recently received its next big update, known as the Summer Update, which again is small. It doesn't really add new content per se, but more so cosmetics, introducing 2 new outfits, a new accessory, and theming the Great Desert Oasis area to that of a summer theme, along with an interactable sun chair so that you can give Eve a break. So the new outfits here are to be expected ShiftUp outfits, right? They're pretty looking. Oh my god. But this small update has seen a 40% increase in players returning to Stellar Blade since it dropped. Not that really anyone needs confirmation on this, but I'm fairly certain that people are using Stellar Blade for alternative purposes other than gaming. Charging back into the game head first, adorning the mentality of stroke it until you've broke it. The sunbed just cracks me up because it's interactable that allows Eve to lie down, getting gamers to a hype point of yes! Yes! We can make her lie down! And raise that leg! Yes! This is the content I signed up for! It's Stellar Blade update time, baby! Woo! All jokes aside though, it's fantastic to see that ShiftUp are consistent here with updates since launch. Although these aren't huge pieces of content, and really for the most part it's just cosmetic things, these guys could very easily charge for this kind of stuff. And the funny thing is, people would literally pay for it. However, during a press conference that was held in June, ShiftUp actually announced a content roadmap for Stellar Blade. The next piece of content that will be arriving in the game will be photo mode. ShiftUp explained at the press conference that this should be dropping sometime around August, and the posts that are going to come out on the day photo mode releases is going to be insane. So we recently saw a 40% increase of players back on Stellar Blade through 2 new outfits and a sun chair being added. Can you imagine what that percent will be when photo mode gets added? Thinking about the whole photo mode situation to do with Stellar Blade though is kind of hilarious. It does make me think that perhaps Sony advised ShiftUp not to include it at launch, because most games nowadays launch with a photo mode. It's that typical to be expected feature that really should be there. I mean, this game was developed on Unreal Engine 4. There are simple blueprints out there that these companies can purchase that will easily implement a photo mode into their game. With how lewd some of the outfits are in Stellar Blade and the whole situation to do with the censorship thing that was going on, I think the last thing that Sony would want was the photo mode being there and people taking very questionable photos of Eve. In a way though, it would have bolstered more advertisement for Stellar Blade, though I think the game got a fair amount of that anyway, just naturally through the themes of the game itself and the character of Eve and the outfits, as well as the drama that was ensuing to do with this censorship. But there's no doubt in my mind that it was an intentional decision not to have photo mode there from day one, due to how people would inevitably end up using the photo mode and how that would look for Sony promoting a product like it. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see how ShiftUp and Sony handle this photo mode in the game. Are they going to give players
unlimited power,
or will there be some kind of restrictions towards it? An example I could give here is bringing the camera too close to a character model would end up phasing out the character model. Some games actually have this. It was also confirmed that additional outfits will continue to be added to the game, though they did mention at the press conference that this will happen after October, so it seems like these summer outfits might be the last outfits the game will receive for a little while, though it totally wouldn't surprise me if they end up dropping another one or two when the photo mode update comes. They also announced that Stellar Blade will be receiving a large-scale collaboration at the end of the year. So previously, ShiftUp did mention that a collaborative DLC is likely to happen for the game. We do know that Stellar Blade is going to have some kind of crossover content with Nikke, their other very successful game for mobile phones. It's possible that the collaboration could be that, but I don't think large-scale collab really fits in with Nikke, considering this is a game of their own. We've speculated that what would make the most sense would probably be Nier Automata. We know that Nier Automata was one of the major inspirations for Stellar Blade, and also considering that it has had a collaboration with Nikke in the past, it seems incredibly fitting for Nier to have some kind of outfit DLC or some sort of crossover thing with Stellar Blade. We also know that Yoko Taro is fond of Stellar Blade and is open to having Nier collab with as many properties as humanly possible. On top of all of that, more DLC content is under review to possibly release after 2024, looking into the year of 2025. I know most of us are keen to know if a substantial paid DLC pack that might add additional stories, some new areas, some new bosses, will eventually come to Stellar Blade, and even the mention of a sequel is something that is under review as well. In interviews leading up to Stellar Blade's release, Kim did mention that a sequel for the game is very possible depending on the game's success. It was announced by ShiftUp back in June that they predicted the game at that point had sold about 1 million copies. Considering that Stellar Blade for many months was the most pre-ordered game on the PlayStation Store, and just how much chitter-chatter this game has created online, I would say we're absolutely in for a Stellar Blade 2. We also know that Kim is interested in exploring more of the world of this game and explaining things in further detail if he ever gets the opportunity to make a second game. We know that ShiftUp are currently developing a brand new game that is unrelated to Stellar Blade, explained to be a AAA urban sci-fi action RPG that's cross-platform and PC. And speaking of PC, the PC version of Stellar Blade is something that ShiftUp are heavily considering. This was mentioned by the director, Kim Hyung-tae. However, due to the contractual relationship, which I assume is in reference to the contract that ShiftUp have with Sony, with Stellar Blade being exclusive to the PlayStation 5 for the time being, they can't exactly give out a date as to when this will happen. Whatever contract that ShiftUp have with Sony, it's likely a timed exclusive one, meaning that Stellar Blade must remain as an exclusive on the PlayStation 5 for a set amount of time, but I think it's inevitable that Stellar Blade will eventually come to PC. I can also imagine that when Stellar Blade comes to PC, this game will probably end up having one of the largest NSFW categories for the mod nexus. Like, the modding scene for this game is gonna be completely out of control, dude, but it's only gonna benefit ShiftUp in the long run, so I would say definitely expect a PC version. However guys, that's all for today. I just wanted to talk about Stellar Blade as it had been some time, and there was a bit of news lying around there to go over. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything that's going on here. Check out my other garbage social media platforms. A big thank you to my Turkey-tastic patrons. I appreciate the support. Have yourselves a damn good one, and we'll talk real soon.